7. Hey, how's it going? This isn't Menards.
Hey, 11% till Sunday. You better get what you need.
I know. I called home during lunch as I was playing background. I said, "Hey, Diane, this is the last 11% sale for a while." I said, "Well, until next month." I said, "No, next year." Wonderful. How are you?
Oh, we'll make some comments. Yeah, I've only been. Take my salary out of the whole deal, and look what you can afford. Good stuff. I don't know. This is kind of a vertical integration business, so staff.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the November 18th, 2021 meeting of Jefferson City Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Dale Vaughn. I'm the chair of the commission. I'd like to remind everybody to silence their phones and any other electronics you may have. Let's see, we will introduce the members, and we'll start off with the, excuse me, sorry. Yes, we'll introduce it with, starting with the council liaison. Do we have one? Okay, so we do not have one.
I will say, I believe Mr. Lester is across the hall in
Oh,
a
is
different
he?
meeting, and so it wouldn't surprise me if he steps in during the meeting, but I'm not sure what his schedule is.
Okay, got it. So the city code authorizes 9 regular members and 3 alternates. Alternates are designated to vote upon the absence or disqualification of regular members. A quorum of 5 members or alternates is necessary to conduct business. I declare that a quorum is present. Okay.
Dale, we skipped
Did we?
introductions.
Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll start off.
My name is Spencer Hoagveld.
Dean Dutoy.
Jack Deacon.
Penny Quigg,
Beth Sweeten, city staff.
Bunny Tricky Cotton.
Gregory Butler.
Shannon Hawk.
Courtney Bliss, city staff.
Eric Barron, the planning and zoning manager.
Sonny Sanders, Director of Planning and Protective Services.
Dustin Birch, Associate City Attorney.
Okay, thank you. The city code authorizes 9 regular members and 3 alternates. Alternates are designated to vote upon the absence or disqualification of regular members. A quorum of 5 members or alternates is necessary to conduct business. I declare that a quorum is present. The following regular members that are absent this evening is Emily Fretwell, Blake Marcus, and Doug Record. Are there any members who are disqualified from voting on the agenda item? Okay, seeing none. The voting members are as follows: Jack Deacon, Dean Dutoy, Bunny Tricky Cotton, Penny Quigg, Gregory Butler, Shannon Hawk, Spencer Hoagfeld. Okay. So instead of moving on to our first case, we have a very special guest. The
Special
past-
being the key word.
Yeah, right. Our past chairman. Our past chairman is here. Geez, I'm drawing a blank. Chris Jordan. Sorry. He made such an impact. Sorry, Chris.
Good just to meet you tonight.
Yeah, right. So tonight we're going to have a presentation of a plaque in your honor, and we'll
Yep.
turn it over to Eric.
And so I'll just point
Sorry
out a
about
few things. So Chris has a long history with the city. Prior to his appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission, he actually served as a city staff member within the Planning and Zoning section. He went to the same school, graduated from the same school with a planning degree that I graduated from, and wouldn't you know it, that Courtney graduated from.
Really?
And so Chris has been around Jeff City and in the the planning and zoning processes for a very long time, first at the staff level and then as a member of this body. I tried to look for pictures of Mr. Jordan from history. I might have been able to dig a little deeper, but I had trouble finding them, and I came to the conclusion is because that a lot of when he was serving as a staff member, we were still in the age of using film, not electronic photos, and so
Black and white.
So I dug into our records a bit to try to give an idea how long ago it has been since Mr. Jordan was first appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's February 2006. And I've done this before for other members. I've looked up at the first case. What was the first thing that they weighed in on a decision? Well, it turns out that Chris was actually absent for his first meeting, and so he was not present. So then in the March meeting, there was a small zoning code amendment, not even an official item of business, that Chris got an opportunity to vote on as an alternate. Often alternates are elevated to those voting positions if there's enough people absent. So it was April before he had a chance to weigh in as a member on a small rezoning case from an RA2 multifamily district to a CO district out on West High Street, which was denied. Okay, and so that's how Chris got his start at the Planning and Zoning Commission, and just a little bit of history there. 2006, and so his service predates me. My starting date here with the city was actually August of 2006. So just 6 months or less after Chris was appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. But that's the most dirt I could pull up on Chris. But after that, I'd turn it over, I guess, to the mayor.
So that was a great introduction. I know you said you tried to pull up dirt. I did graduate from the same high school class. Penny knows her daughter and I and Chris were class of 90 in the same high school class, and Missouri State University, SMS at the time, but I didn't bring anything with me to share. I should have, right? But we were great students. But it shows now, because look at your leadership and look at what you've done for the city of Jefferson, and we really do appreciate it. I know this is a board that is very important. The Planning and Zoning Commission, the things that you all do are extremely important when you think of all the years that you've served, just the impact that you've had on development and also leadership in our city. So I'd like to invite you up forward here, if you'd come on up to the podium, and you may want to say a few words, but first things first, we will get us a selfie, right? Because we didn't have these when you started on the board either. Awesome. So I have a special plaque, and it says, in appreciation of Chris Jordan for his service on the Planning and Zoning Commission, Jefferson City, Missouri, 2006 to 2020, Vice Chairman, September of 2009 to July of 2015, and Chairman from July of 2015 to July of 2020. So we appreciate your service. Congratulations, and would you like to say a few words as well?
I was telling Carrie, there's only been a couple of times I've been on this side of the podium, and it's definitely different than sitting up there. I really enjoyed working with everyone over those years, met a lot of people, had a lot of fun. But you guys know that this is a serious job that you guys have to do for the city, and please know that people appreciate what you do. I enjoyed it. I miss it. I really do. Unfortunately, I moved outside the city limits before I tenured out, but I really enjoyed doing it and got to meet a lot of you people and see people that I hadn't seen in many years and all that. So I just want to say thank you guys for having me here tonight, and again, appreciate what you guys do. So, thank you.
Here's what we normally do at City Council. If the commission members would want to stand all behind here, and then Dale, as the chair, will come on down, and we'll give this to Chris. We'll present this plaque.
Okay. We're going to move on to the first case, case number P2.
Format.
Oh,
Yeah. Even though it's a very small audience, we always read the format prior to the meeting.
call the case. Is it on there?
Yes. Right here, call for cases. And then you'll just announce the case and then you'll go start your.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Right. Case number P21009, right?
Well, to make sure someone's present here to represent the case, correct? Is that where we are?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't-
Yeah, we have to do the call for cases and then receive and review requests for continuance, receive requests for the order and the agenda.
Sorry, I'm just going off my cheat sheet.
Yeah, we're at call for cases, and so the purpose of that is to make sure there's someone present to represent the case.
Got it.
And there is. If you could raise your hand.
So I
Thank you.
called for the case.
Yep.
Read the case off.
Yep.
Okay. Case number P21009 849 Stone Ridge Parkway amended special exception use permit.
Yep, and we have an
Right.
applicant. So,
Right.
okay.
Are there any requests for continuance?
No.
Are there any requests to reorder the agenda? No.
No, except that we just took care of the Chris Jordan item that's later on the agenda.
We did, yes.
So I think we're good.
Okay. Courtney, will you please read the format of the hearing and order of testimony?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to briefly describe the procedures of the commission. The proceedings of the meeting are being recorded, so please step to the microphone when you speak and give your name and address for the record. The standard order of each case is as follows. After introduction of the request by city staff, the applicant or their consultants will provide information on the request. The opening presentation by the applicant shall be limited to 10 minutes unless additional time is granted by the commission. The applicant shall have 3 additional minutes for closing testimony if requested. We will then ask to hear from opponents of the request. We will then ask to hear from supporters of the request. We will then ask to hear from opponents of the request. We will then ask to hear from anyone else who wishes to speak on the request. Testimony shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the commission. City staff will then make the recommendations on the request. In order to reduce the time necessary to hear an application, all references to printed material, including staff reports and applicable findings, shall not be read into the record unless directed by the commission. The commission will then close testimony from the floor. The commission will then discuss the proposal, then publicly make its determination with reasons. The form of motion shall be positive. That is that the motion shall be made to accept the request as presented or with modifications, stipulations, or conditions. The final vote will be taken with ayes in favor and nays opposed. The chair shall announce the results of the vote, specifying the number of votes cast in favor and the number of votes cast against. Okay. Okay. The following documents are entered as exhibits for all items under consideration at this meeting. The City Code of the City of Jefferson as amended, the comprehensive plan and land use map, copies of applications under consideration, a list of property owners to whom notices were sent, the affidavit of publication of the public notice in the newspaper, copies of drawings, plans, and/or renderings under consideration, letters or memoranda from staff reports, minutes of proceedings, correspondence or other materials submitted by the public or the applicant, rules of procedure for the City of Jefferson Planning and Zoning Commission. These items are public record and available for inspection through the Department of Planning and Protective Services or through the Office of the City Clerk. Please be advised that any items that are presented, distributed, or otherwise displayed pertaining to the case cases under consideration become property of the Commission. This includes any photographs, drawings, petitions, and letters. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Courtney. Okay, we'll move on to the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as printed or reordered?
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 14th, 2021?
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do we have any additional communications received?
No, Mr. Chair.
No. Okay. Okay. So we're moving, we're going to ask Courtney to present the case.
Okay. So this is case P21009. It is a request for an amended special exception use permit for property situated at 849 Stone Ridge Parkway, and it's a request that was filed by Sam's Real Estate Business Trust. So, 849 Stone Ridge Parkway can be described location-wise as it's northeast of the Stone Ridge Parkway and Hard Rock Drive intersection. And so Stone Ridge Parkway runs north to south, and then the Hard Rock Drive runs west to east. And it can be described, or it is a part of the Stone Ridge Parkway, or Stone Ridge Village subdivision is part of the Section 10, and then it is within Lot 10, and is Zone C2 General Commercial. And so again, what they're wanting to do is basically rebrand, where they're changing the color scheme, and you can see that's the proposed color scheme that they have. It's going to be a switch to more gray tones from the normal, or what they've got now, which is more brown colors, or tones of brown. And let's see, that is a comparison of the two. So a little bit of history behind this is that in 2013, there was a case where they accepted the current color scheme under a special exception use permit, and it was a part of one where it allowed for the Sam's building to be constructed past the 100,000 square footage requirement. It exceeded that requirement by about 36,000. But in any case, that special exception use permit allowed for the color scheme they have now, and so in order to properly change that color scheme, they have to amend their special exception use permit. And there is another note, is that they want to make minor signage changes. None are very significant, except for still a minor change, but it is where they would add a sign on the east side of the building, which faces Menards, and it would be viewed from Stone Creek Drive. And that is the initial details on this case that I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Courtney. Do any commissioners have any questions for staff? Or excuse me, do any commissioners have any questions for Courtney? No. Who would like to present this case? Thank you.
Hello.
Please say your name and address, please.
Joyce Landwehr with BRR Architecture, 8131 Metcalf Avenue, Overland Park, Kansas, 66204.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Basically, the Sam's Club at Stone Ridge Parkway is looking to rebrand the club and the fuel station with their new paint finishes and signs to closely align with the Sam's Club overall fleet and the branding philosophy. As you can see on the elevations that we submitted, it's basically going from the brown hues to their gray and blue color scheme, and we're leaving, some of the additional details around the entrance. We're not going to be changing that brick or anything of that nature. It's fairly minor change. The square footage on the signage, as she mentioned, is very minor. Most of all, on all of the clubs, it has generally been less square footage than existing, but I know really the meeting tonight is mainly about the exterior color change. So it's pretty straightforward on the elevations, unless you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Joyce. Anybody have any questions for Joyce? Is there anyone present who would like to speak in favor of this request? No? Is there anyone present who would like to speak in opposition of this request? Is there anyone that would like to just speak on this request? Seeing none. Seeing none, we will now close the testimony. Courtney, staff report.
Thank you. So what staff has found that the majority of the overview of code review requirements were addressed in the 2013 case. The only notable difference is the what is occurring in this particular amended special exception use permit, which we noted that a negative would be that it would contrast, the color scheme would contrast from the surrounding properties there, and with especially with those like Kohl's, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Menards, they have more of the brown hues. But a positive, or something that's also to note, is that there's plenty of development land available, especially to the west and the south, so it's very likely that the color schemes will also contradict or contrast from what's there, so it's not a big deal, and it doesn't, or at least it wouldn't seem so. So staff recommends approval of the amended special exception use permit. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Courtney. Do any commissioners have any questions for staff or Courtney? Seeing none, would somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we approve the amended special exception use permit.
Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Nay? Seeing none. Motion passes. Courtney, will this proceeding will go to the city council?
Yes.
Okay.
When is that? Be scheduled for a public hearing in front of the city council on December 20th at 6 p.m. in this room. And certainly if there's any questions, you can certainly contact city staff after the meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to other business, staff updates or prior cases. Move that to Eric.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. There's two prior cases that were just approved at the city council level. One of them was the street naming, assigning street names for the two street private driveway, the streets behind Jefferson and Lawson schools off of Edgewood and Fairgrounds. That was approved by city council. And then also the subdivision plat for the one outlot out at the Capitol Mall was also approved. And so that's where the Starbucks is currently under construction. There's an existing Pizza Hut, and then one now lot on its own that's available for future development. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, we're now moving on to the election of officers.
Okay. And so this is an item that typically takes place in, I think it was June. And so we have missed it. And so we are overdue for an election. In fact, we should have caught it last month, but we didn't. And so it is the body's pleasure on someone on how to proceed with that election. But at the end of the process, we need a chair and a vice chair.
So basically, he's asking, "Are you okay with me being chairman?"
I'd like to nominate Dale. Excuse me. I'd like to nominate Dale to continue as chairman.
I second that.
Thank you. And then vice chair as well.
Maybe two.
Do we
All in
vote on
favor?
that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you run as a ticket here. I think.
Yeah, package deal. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All any opposed? Say nay. No. Seeing none. Okay.
And I'll nominate Penny as vice chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any passes?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service, both of you.
Thank
And,
you. I think it's been 10 years for me. 8 or, I think 10, maybe.
how many
I think 8 to 10.
since you've been appointed?
Yes, since I've been appointed.
So, I think sounds about correct.
Yep.
So,
Thank you. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the adoption of the 2022 meeting calendar.
Okay, so this is the proposed 2022 P&Z meeting calendar. There were no dates that were changed to accommodate any holidays or any sort of staff requests or anything like that. So they're all falling on the second Thursday of each month, but that's the calendar.
And so we need a motion and a vote to approve the calendar.
Can I get a motion for the 2022 calendar?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Calendar.
I'll just add a bit. I think we're getting very near the bottom of the agenda. We are planning to have a meeting next month for December. We have another minor. I say minor. It's actually a staff-initiated code amendment to present to you for the mural code. We often, and certainly at the advice of our law department, bring amendments to Chapter 3 of the City Code, advertising and signage, through the planning and zoning process for review before sending on to the City Council for final approval. But it's actually the mural section of that code. And so just a few minor changes that are proposed at the staff level for that. And then any other agenda items that we piece together between now and then. Certainly it's been quite a while at the staff level. We have new staff and starting to get into the routine of having regular in-person meetings, which I personally am very grateful for. It's difficult to make progress on planning items, I think, without having regular meetings. And so I've said it, I think, during Chris's presentation, during just now on the election officers, and extended to all of you. Thank you all for your service. It would be impossible to conduct the business that we have to do here at the city level on these items without you. I hope you all have a very great Thanksgiving. They shut down the school system for the week of Thanksgiving, so a lot of people are going on vacation, including me. And so I hope everyone stays safe and has an enjoyable holiday. So.
Eric, if I can, Courtney did a fine job. I like it short, sweet, and to the point. Didn't belabor the point. It was good. Thank you.
Did we not do that at last meeting?
You mean on the commission? So, yeah, and I very briefly read Mr. Records' email. He's already confided to me, and I can't remember if he Oh, it was? Okay, I'm sorry. And so I knew it was coming, and so there is yet another opening on the Planning and Zoning Commission level. And so another opening for, it'd be for an alternate position for this board. It has been a struggle. There are a lot of different boards and commissions across the city, and then it's been a struggle lately. I think that we feel at kind of the staff level of maybe a bit of a deficit of people coming forward to put their names in the hat, and it's very hard to process them without several names in the hat to be able to review. Those applications for volunteer service, go through a process. Ultimately, it's the mayor and the administration committee that review those. But at the staff level, we like to continually encourage people who are interested in the field that want to be involved in city government to step forward. With COVID and everything else that's occurring, I think there's a bit of a deficit in that. So if you know anyone, and it doesn't even have to be for the Planning and Zoning Commission, that is interested in serving their community, I'd ask you please encourage them to look into to filling out a volunteer application and checking the boxes that they think they'd be interested or could be helpful in. So. At the Planning and Zoning Commission level, we do try to spread the membership out amongst the wards. So that's one item that gets looked at. It is not a requirement. Okay. At the planning and, or at the Board of Adjustment level, we also do that. I don't think that there's as much focus on that amongst the other boards and commissions across the city. But for P&Z and Board of Adjustment, we certainly do.
Okay. Yeah, I might think about how to help spread the word.
And the other half of the question is, right now, we've got a pretty good representation across the city, and so it's not that much of a factor in terms of appointment right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, I guess that is it. I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys. It's actually